Hey guys, this is Buttery Waffles 9 with the with the second part of my bombs in Voltz showcase slash tutorial slash whatever. So I'm just going to get started, and we ended off with we finished off with the last of our Tier 2 explosives, and this time we will be starting with all of our Tier 3 explosives. So, our first one is our Endothermic Explosive, which I believe this one is actually I'm pretty sure this one is glitched in at least the version that I'm using, which right now, I'm not sure which version it is, but it is the recommended build. So, I don't know what it is in the current build, but I don't know. But basically, you just take 4 ice and 4 snow and surround it in an attractive explosive. And when you light it, you'll see it doesn't really do much as of right now, because, like I said, it's glitched. But all it really does is it makes a hole, and it makes like this blue beam in the sky. It doesn't really do anything. I've heard from a couple of people that it's supposed to like turn the whole area into a like snowing winter wonderland. It covers everything in snow and freezes all water blocks, but right now it doesn't really do that. So it doesn't really do much, but that's your Endothermic Explosive. Now this is your Ender Explosive, which is it's made of 6 endstone, 2 ender pearls, and once again an attractive explosive. And it gives you this, which has cool little Enderman eyes looking out from the side. But basically, this is a pretty good PvP bomb, because what it does is it sucks in all mobs, entities, and players, and it destroys all mobs and entities and teleports any players that get pulled into it to the end. And what it says on the Voltz wiki is that it will teleport them to the end, so that they have to deal with the Ender Dragon. But that doesn't really make sense, because if you got this legitly, you couldn't have gotten the End Stone without killing the Ender Dragon yourself. In which case, they would only really restart at their spawn, but that's still inconvenient, I guess. So, without further ado, your Ender Explosive, which I'll show you guys real quick. So it sucks you in like this, and I'll put down a witch so you can see that getting sucked in. Then I'll throw a dirt so you can see that get sucked in. And then, once it finishes sucking everything in, it spawns a bunch of Endermen. I think, yeah, it spawns 10 Endermen where it exploded. So, right now they're all angry because they're in the sunlight. But, yep. For maximum effectiveness, I'd use this at night so that the Endermen don't all teleport away. And they can further grief the environment by picking up more blocks. So, this next one is your Antigravitational Explosive. Unfortunately, guys, I will not be lighting this one because it doesn't always work on single player. It usually doesn't work, actually, and it creates a ton of lag for a bomb that doesn't even do anything on single player. So I'm not going to be using this one, or lighting this one, but just to show you guys how to make it, take 8 eyes of Ender and you put a repulsive explosive in the middle. And I'll explain to you guys what it does. So basically, it has a small blast radius, and any blocks in the blast radius get they float up to probably 150 blocks in the air, and it also makes everything in its radius, like it makes an anti-gravity field basically around it, and all mobs and anything players drops, everything will float up to around 50 blocks high for maybe 10 minutes, I'd say it probably lasts. So it's pretty cool, but I can't light it on this because it just makes so much lag, and it doesn't even work on single player, at least for my current build, but it does work on multiplayer, which is interesting. So this next one is your EMP Explosive, and you take 4 basic batteries and 4 redstone, surround it in a repulsive explosive to get your EMP Explosive. And if anybody watching this has ever played Modern Warfare 3, or you keep up on your military information, you'd know that an EMP is used to knock out any electrical equipment, which is exactly what it does in this too. So anything electric, batteries, missile launchers, camouflage, battery boxes, it will drain their power and disable them. So basically, even for the camouflage, if you light one of these, it'll turn the camouflage off, and it'll make its block disguise go away, and it will make it so that you can't redisguise it. You have to make more camouflage. So here's a full bat box. You can see it's almost completely full of power. And I'll light this. It doesn't do any damage to the environment, but yep, makes a little smoke ring. And now it has no power in it, and it says disabled. So I'm pretty sure that even if I do go into our electric expansion and put this in, yep, see, the infinite battery still can't even charge the bat box. Oh, or it can. You just have to take it out and put it back in. Interesting glitch there, but anyway, it's not supposed to be able to do that. So that is your EMP explosive. Oh, another thing to note about the EMP explosives is they can be used as self-defense, because if there is a missile flying at your base or house and you light one of those, if the missile is within its blast area, it will deactivate the missile and drop it as an item. So it won't blow up your house, and if you can find it, you might even have a free missile that somebody decided to launch at your house. So, yep, that's that. So this is our next explosive, and it is our Hypersonic Explosive, which, in case you couldn't tell by the name, it's basically a sonic explosive, and it's even made of sonic explosives, but it has a bigger blast radius, and it sends blocks farther away. So, if you watched the first part of this video, or the first section of my bombs showcase, you would know that this is what sonic explosives do. They completely litter the environment with ugly, misplaced blocks, except this one makes it much, 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 much larger, puts blocks much farther, and it even makes that annoying beeping sound before it blew up, in case you didn't hear that. So, yep, that's your Hypersonic Explosive. It's pretty expensive, considering that the sonic explosives were rather expensive, and it takes 5 sonic explosives. So, yeah, I actually think that you could probably do more damage with the 5 sonic explosives than combining them all into one. So, I don't know. We'll see. You guys can see if you want, but moving on. So this is our next bomb, and it is, in case you couldn't tell from the radioactive hazard symbol on it, it is a nuke, and you make it by surrounding a thermobaric explosive in 8 uranium cakes. So, yep, these, you can probably guess that these make big craters, because nukes make big explosions. So, when you light it, it makes that alarm sound, and it gives you plenty of time to get away. And then once it blows up, you will see in a second, makes explosions on the ground, and then makes a large mushroom cloud that's really cool and pretty intimidating if this is near your house. And then the explosion doesn't appear until the mushroom cloud is almost completely gone. So you'll see in a second, but there you go, almost no mushroom cloud left, or it's completely gone. And it's just lagging a lot, I guess. And there's the crater, okay. So then it makes your crater here, as you can see. It's a big crater, and it actually also, aside from just making a giant crater, it puts this really annoying material all over the place. It's called radioactive material, and basically it's a block, as you can see, and when you step on it, it gives you radiation poisoning. So it's extremely annoying, because I'm not even it seems like to me, actually, when I've done this in survival, that you don't even have to step on the block in order to get radiation poisoning. So I'm not positive on that one though, but either way, these blocks are extremely annoying. And they do eventually go away and they turn into mycelium, like that one. That one already decomposed, or whatever you want to call it. So if you wanted to get mycelium legitly without finding a mushroom biome, you could do it this way, but I just do it far away from your house and far away from anywhere you go, because that radiation poisoning is quite annoying. So I'm going to set the time to 0. I actually have a cold right now. My voice is not very good. That's why it keeps cracking. So give me a break. But we're moving on to our next bomb. So this next bomb is our Exothermic Explosive. And you take 8 incendiary explosives and surround it, or no, you surround a piece of glass in 8 incendiary explosives. There we go. That's what I meant to say. And this is probably my favorite bomb in the game, and it is also extremely laggy and extremely good for griefing. So, and you'll see why in a second. But if my computer lags, I'm sorry, but there's not really much I can do about it. And you'll see why it could cause so much lag. And it's actually a 3-part explosion, as you see. So this is the first part, and it's like a tiny hypersonic tiny sonic explosive. Shoots some blocks up in the air. This is your second part, where it makes like a ring of fire all over the place, and is extremely like griefing. And the third part, it lagged, but you can see it now. It makes it nighttime. So, yep. So in conclusion, this bomb lights everything on fire, makes it nighttime, and is like a tiny tiny sonic missile, or a sonic bomb. Now, as you can see, there's netherrack around also, and I'm lagging really bad, probably because of all the fire all over the place. But there's quite a bit of netherrack around all over the place, and that's because this bomb replaces quite a few of the blocks in its blast radius with netherrack. So therefore, as you can probably guess, that means that it will never stop burning on the netherrack, which means that you have unless you clean it up, a permanently on fire area that's pretty much gone. And that's actually the other thing too. I forgot to mention that it also places random blocks of lava. So you get your random blocks of lava, fire all over the place, lots of blocks replaced with netherrack. It's just an all-around great griefing explosive that does create a ton of lag. So I'm going to set the time back to 0. Exothermic Explosive. We will be moving on to our next bomb. So, our next bomb today, and actually, wow, this is lagging so bad from that, but since I'm getting farther away, it should be getting better. We are now finished with our Tier 3 explosives, so welcome to Tier 4 explosives, which there are only 2 Tier 4 explosives, unless you are also counting a cluster nuke, but that is only in a missile, so I didn't do it in this video. But I might do that later in a launcher tutorial if I make that. But this is the first of our Tier 4 explosives, the first of 2 that I will be showing, and it is an Antimatter explosive. Now, it's surrounded in 8 1-gram rods of antimatter, surrounding a nuke. So it's very expensive, especially if you know how antimatter is gotten, which is with a particle accelerator, which is already ridiculously expensive. So you probably won't get one of these legitly, and antimatter is ridiculously expensive, so that's probably why you won't get it legitly. So this one doesn't actually make too much lag, despite its gigantic crater making, but it does not create lasting lag like the other ones do, so that's probably why. It just makes a big hole in the ground, and unlike the nuke, it doesn't make a giant crater. It's a really cool noise that it makes when it explodes, though, so there you go. There's your cool noise. And here's your gigantic crater. It's really big. I think they have like 30 block diameter blast radiuses or something like that. I have no idea. But it makes a huge crater. That's the bottom line here. This is by far the biggest instant crater explosive in the game, hands down. Because when you compare this to a nuke, the nukes just don't compare. And that thing's griefing capabilities are probably unmatched by any bomb. So, yep, that's that. And we'll be moving on to our next explosive now. So, our last and final explosive got blown up, which is a problem, but I will fix that real quickly. But it is a red matter explosive, which is the last bomb of this, I'd say I'll call it a bomb highlight, I guess, maybe, or tutorial, or I don't know. But this is the last one of this two-part series, and it is the hardest to get. It's harder to get than the antimatter bombs, because when you're generating antimatter in a particle accelerator, there's a 1 in 75 chance it will generate a strange matter instead of an antimatter, and you need 8 strange matters surrounded in an antimatter explosive to get a red matter explosive. And what red matter explosives do is they make a black hole that sucks in everything and destroys it, including players, blocks around it, anything, basically. Anything that is within its radius, it will suck in and blow up. So, it will start out small, and it'll keep growing and sucking in more and more blocks around it, increasing the crater's diameter until it gets to a maximum diameter of 70 blocks, which is gigantic. That is huge. That's bigger than the antimatter explosives craters. But the only difference is that this takes a bit more time than the antimatter ones. So it sucks in the blocks, swirls them around, and then blows them up. Now, if you want to stop this before it gets too big, there is only one way to do that, and that is to actually blow it up with an antimatter powered explosive. Now, for some reason, it doesn't always seem to work for me whenever I use the TNT form like this. I don't know why. I think it sucks it up and destroys it before it has a chance to explode. I'm not sure exactly why it doesn't work, but there's a couple of other ways to do it, though. You can use a antimatter missile, which is what I'll be doing to shut this one off, or you can actually use a railgun like that with an antimatter bullet and then just shoot it right into the black hole, and it will deactivate the black hole. Now, sometimes it actually gets, I'm not sure, it glitches out, and the antimatter doesn't stop the black hole. It actually moves it and makes it mobile, which is an extreme problem because you have a mobile black hole. So I'm not even really sure if I need to explain why that would be bad. But no matter how far away you are from your house or whatever, if you have a black hole that's moving, that's a problem because it could get near your house and say goodbye to your house if that happens. So, oops, hold on. Okay, there we go. Now, to shut this off, like I said, you just need to use an antimatter explosive device other than the box form or whatever you want to call it to deactivate it. And with the antimatter missiles, you want to actually make sure that you're hitting the black hole, otherwise it won't work, and it'll just make your black hole mobile, like I said. So, in order to, what I've found the easiest way to make sure that you're actually going to hit it is using a laser designator. And with railguns, it's really easy. You just have to point it at it, and it's pretty straightforward. But this one, you also need a launcher support frame to make sure that your missile has 100% accuracy. And then we'll link up the laser designator. Go over to the black hole here. Yeah, as you can see, it's sucking in tons and tons of blocks right now. So I'm going to call in the airstrike. There we go. We have the green marker beam. And we'll see the missile go up. Turn over. And any minute now. There we go. And it will crash right into the red matter, or right into the black hole. And I don't know why it... Okay. Well, in this case, this is an example where the game glitched and then made the black hole mobile. Luckily, this time it was far underneath the ground, so I guess you wouldn't have to worry about it too much. But, yep, just be careful when you're lighting that. Keep that in mind that it might not work, and it might make the black hole move, in which case it's going to be very difficult to shut off. But, even if it does work, you will end up with a gigantic crater in the ground because the antimatter explosive will still make an antimatter-sized crater in the ground. So if you just let the black hole go, you'll make a gigantic crater that has a 70 block diameter. I mean, if you don't, you will, no matter what, end up with at least an antimatter-sized crater. So the bottom line is, I guess, if you are going to make a red matter explosive, you're going to end up with a giant crater no matter what. So, that concludes these 2 videos on my showcasing of the explosives in Voltz. And there's the red matter explosive, or the black hole, moving along and sucking everything in. So, that concludes these 2 videos in this mini-series, I guess you could call it, and I will see you guys later with my next set of tutorials. See you later.